New moon solar eclipse. Are you ready? All right, let's jump in. I've got some tips for you on how to harness the energy of this incredible event and how to, and it's not even so much harness it, but it's to get into the flow of it. Because when we have eclipses, they tend to shake things up, they shift things to bring about an awareness of paths and opportunities that we didn't even realize were right there in front of us. So I'm so excited as you hop on. Please say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Are you in a place of the path of totality where you're going to be able to experience the complete darkness? Let me know. I'm very, very excited. I have a friend's house that I'm going to be visiting today, one of my astrology buddies. We're all going to go hang out. She is in the path of totality, so I'm very excited. This is an exciting time, this eclipse, for a number of reasons. We're going to touch on some of them today, but I also want to really get to the heart of how this shows up for you. So I invite you to place your hand on your heart. And as you place your hand on your heart, take a few deep breaths, tune in, and ask, what's the most important thing that you need to know for this upcoming eclipse energy? And so I'm going to just shuffle the cards. And as I do so, I'm just seeing who pops up. And so as we tune in, yep, this one little guy is calling my attention. I love it. The lovers. So something that makes you feel complete. There is a union, but there's also a choice. There's a decision point. There's a crossroads that has been come to. And the fact that the lovers pops up, this is such a beautiful deck, the Light Seers by Chris Ann. I love the way that she expresses this, especially because you have the little Sagittarian archer there. They've got the little beautiful Triskelion there that represents the beautiful three, like the Trinity. You have, oh, there it is. I'm like, where is it hiding? Metatron's cube right there in the very center. So, and even this beautiful swirl around it, all of this symbolism. So there's something, the fire energy for sure, which Aries represents, but it's taking a bold leap. It is taking a risk. Risks are calculated. It's not impulsive. Now, Aries can be impulsive, right? There's that energy and passion, like, we're going to do it. We're going to go for it. They know they're going to succeed. They're bold. They're courageous. They're brave. But I want to invite you to note that this is a decision point. It's an opportunity to make a choice, and to make a choice based out of love, not fear. Because a lover's card, based on how you decide, you can kind of move your way towards the temperance experience of beautiful balance and harmony, or you can make your way towards a place where you feel trapped and enslaved. It's very interesting, the pictures, the symbolism, the imagery in the tarot deck, because in the temperance card, you have this beautiful angel. And and I wonder if I could find it quickly. Although in this deck, it's a little bit different. You have the beautiful angel balancing the sun and the moon, the masculine and feminine energies. And then, hello, Eleanor. Happy Eclipse Day. So glad you could join in the fun on the other side of the pond. But the other card that this energy can lead to is the devil energy. And that's not something that's outside of ourselves necessarily. It's something that we're doing to ourselves that keeps us feeling trapped. So sometimes we'll make a choice or a decision because we feel like we have no other options. Like, better the devil you know than you don't know. That was one of my grandmother's phrases. But there's always options, especially if you feel stuck. And even if you feel like, oh, there's only two options, this way or that way, and neither's very appealing, there's a third option. And the eclipse is going to bring that to your attention because it is a decision. It's a crossroads. It's a point where I have to take action. It's Aries energy. I can't sit back and just look and wonder and observe anymore. I need to take action. Now, you don't have to take action on the eclipse. You don't have to do so right now, but this is kind of setting up the stage. The opportunities are presenting themselves, and there's that awareness of, I need to act or I'll be acted upon. Kind of like the universe is like, this is for your own good. We're going to push you out of the nest, and don't worry, you'll fly. It might be a little scary for a moment, but you'll fly. So I want to invite you in your life, notice where you might be at a crossroads. Now, this is very high level. Each one of you, as I do a general reading like this, what I invite you to do is just notice the memories that pop up into your heart, the images, the connections, first things that pop to mind, because each of us will have a slightly different path with this eclipse. Some people it's going to affect a lot more intensely than others. They'll go out and they'll be like, oh, isn't it cool? And some of us will be crying and rocking in the corner. It all depends on how the eclipse is showing up in our natal chart, how it's working with our spirit and soul. If you want to know more about that, then just, message me like, I want to know more, Irene, and I'll reach out to you. Oh, I'm so glad this spoke to you. I'm so glad to share. So glad that you're here. So, the decision, the crossroads that you might find yourself at, I want to invite you. Look at your options. Know that more are being revealed with this eclipse energy. If you haven't acted and you've had a feeling of like, oh, I really don't like this job. It's not great. The pay's okay, but I feel like my talents aren't being put to use, or I'm not challenged, or I just don't like it here. But you've been hanging out because, if it ain't broke, why fix it kind of attitude, there might be a little impetus, a push for you to make that jump to something that is more in alignment with your soul's path and spirit while you're here. Ideally, we'll make that choice before the universe has to nudge us. So that's what this eclipse is saying, is we're providing these opportunities. So what the reading is coming through with the card, we're providing these opportunities so that you have an idea of, am I on the right path? How does this feel? How does that feel? And to have the courage, that's the Aries energy, to be bold and brave and to go for it, to be ready for like the Sagittarian adventure, to create that structure, the Metatron's cube, which balances the masculine and feminine energy, being receptive, tuning in, and yet still taking action. And I'm just feeling called to pull another card on this and say, can you give us a little bit of a clue around what is the decision? What do we need to know about the decision? Okay, Queen of Pentacles, and she came out upside down. So when a card is upside down or reversed, it's still the same energy. It just means there might be a little bit of a block from experiencing it. Queen of Pentacles, she has the Midas touch. She is sitting pretty, quite literally. She's calm, she's cool, collected. She has her eyes closed. That represents and symbolizes such peacefulness and such ease. She's not worried about what's going on around her. She feels completely safe, protected, and grounded. She has access to all the funds she's needed. She has created her queendom. And when it's upside down, there might be this feeling of insecurity or instability around money, or feeling safe, or feeling like I can take my eyes off the ball for a second. I want to invite you to breathe. And so I'm going to give you a practice right now for the eclipse, a little eclipse ritual that's going to help you tune into the energy that's being provided with the eclipse and the moon the rest of this week, because we'll talk about it. We'll get into the inside of the moon journal, and the theme very much for this week that I chose, the intention for myself, and if you want to use it too, by all means, is flow. Essentially, to go with the flow, to step into the flow of grace. And there's a softening that happens with that. But at the same time, there's action. And Eleanor, you said intense buildup. You've been feeling it for some time now. Yep, feeling funky today, almost like anticipation is feeling something shifting. Been enforcing your boundaries lately. Yay. Although it's caused you pain. I'm so sorry. But it's what's best for you, and you're setting the bar for your self-worth. Exactly. Oh, I get chills. So, oh, beautiful. Eclipses are about change. They're about shifts, and it does cause at times discomfort or friction. That's why it's kind of like, well, it may not be great, but it's okay. Why speak up? And even sometimes just like not wanting to rock the boat or make trouble for anybody else. I had to rearrange an appointment for later today because I totally, when I made it 6 months ago, wasn't thinking about eclipse energy. I was just thinking, oh, my daughter will be out of school on time, so I won't have to have her miss school, and I don't have any calls, and blah, 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 blah. I wasn't thinking April 8th, the big eclipse. I don't know why not. I was thinking like schedules for kids and my work schedule. And I made an appointment and I realized, oh my gosh, I really need to change that. But I didn't want to call and put, someone out or a disservice or mess up their schedule. And it took a lot for me to ground and to tune in and say, there's certain boundaries that need to be put in place, or certain things. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that in detail, but this Aries energy, me as a Libra, we can tune into it. We can kind of step into the flow of it and say, I'm going to be a little bit more bold. I'm going to speak up for what my heart really desires and wants right now, and not put everybody else's thoughts and feelings first. So hope that's kind of a Libra's perspective on the Aries. It's going to be individual for each one. But with that being said, I do want to bring you through a practice right now, because I had one of my one-on-one energy alchemist clients message me yesterday. She was feeling extreme anxiety with this eclipse. The anxiety, if you have been feeling it, that is normal, I'll say, in the sense of you're not the only one feeling it. Eclipses cause anxiety. This was a very, very scary experience hundreds and thousands of years ago, when they didn't fully understand, humans didn't fully understand what an eclipse really signified. It's just like the sun is disappearing. We're not going to have the sun to grow our food. We're not going to be able to have heat or warmth or fire. It's very, very, very scary. And so humans would, basically like pour their hearts out to God or gods and say, listen, what can I do? Like, bring the sun back. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to transgress. Forgive me of my sins. Bring the sun back. They didn't know that it was going to come back. So it's very, very scary times. So there's this primal instinct of the anxiety being stirred up. And, there's a lot of fear going on in the world. What's most important right now is that we are in our right mind and we're in our heart space. And that means grounding. So when my client called me yesterday and she felt the anxiety so much that she was literally shaking, there's a couple different things to do at that point. And I'm going to give you these tips. It's going to help with the solar eclipse, because it is a fire energy. It's a north node eclipse, which means we're heading towards something brand new. The universe is giving this big energy and push to be bold, to be brave, courageous, take lead in this and go for the new. Oh, I get goosebumps. But it can be a little overwhelming. It can cause anxiety. So one of the first things is, I'm going to just comes from energy medicine and Dada Eden. You just bring your hand to your forehead. Don't smack yourself too hard, but maybe a gentle little whack. You can do just this. You can even bring the other hand to match it at the back of the head, so that we get out of that prefrontal cortex fight or flight, and we take 5 deep breaths. So what you're doing is you're working with acupressure points to calm yourself, to calm the nervous system. Because when we're in a state of shock, we're not thinking right. We go into panic, most of us. There's some that do really well in high anxiety moments. They're on their feet. But most of us, we're running around like crazy chickens. So just hand to forehead, hand to back of the head. Basically, you're working with your 6th chakra, and you're just releasing the anxiety through the exhale, inhaling possibility, potential, opportunities, options, exhaling any of the blocks. Something as simple as that. Even now, I already start to feel the shift. So let me know if you're trying that. How does that feel for you right now in this moment? And Eleanor, you said you hear me, you're Leo, and Libra is your rising sign. Yeah. So Leo, fire sign. So this is going to give you extra energy. It's in that trine by sign, the Aries to the Leo. And thank you for the red. Yes, grounding color. It's interesting. I was going to say, this wasn't by accident that I wore this, but I didn't fully think it through. In my Mastering Intuition Energy Alchemist program, one of the exercises is I ask my students to just say, what color do I feel like when they wake up in the morning and they're looking at what they want to wear? And it depends on, what's in your wardrobe. But today I felt like I need red. And then my mind kicked in and I thought, really, red? It's the dark moon. Don't you want to wear something dark? And I thought, no, I feel red. Okay, I'll go with it. And now I know why I wore red. I didn't even think of it. Thanks, Eleanor. And Delee said you're feeling maybe hopeful, anxious feelings today for sure. Hello, Cindy. Glad you're jumping on live. The anxiety is out there. So hand to forehead and back of head. That's number 1. 5 deep breaths. If you need a little more assistance, you can bring the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And that's a way to reset your whole system. It's like rebooting the computer. That can help as well. And just nice, deep belly breaths. And then release. You release your hands, you release your tongue. So that's one of the first tips that I want to give you. The next thing I want to do is just jump into the energy of the week and talk a little bit about how the eclipse is going to unfold. I have some more eclipse tips that I want to share. And I'm going to share this one before I go on because it's really coming through very clearly to say right now. If you haven't heard of this little technique, it's a super helpful one. I give this to my clients who have to travel frequently, who have to give large presentations, and they don't have a lot of time to get outside for grounding, because getting outside grounding is really nice. Hand on the tree, bare feet on grass, or just a walk. But they're in hotels, they're in airports, they're in conference rooms, and it's boom, boom, boom until they get back home. If you have a little bit of salt, like kosher salt, I like the chunkier salt just because it's a little bit bigger, but you can use any edible salt. Place a little bit on your tongue. And when you place a little bit of salt on your tongue, it could be sea salt, it could be earth salt, it starts to ground you. Very, very calming. So notice when you crave salty snacks. It's very interesting. I'll notice after certain calls, like energy healing sessions, if I'm craving sweet or if I'm craving salty, because there's two different things that would have happened that show me that I need to maintain my energy in a better way. If I'm craving salty, that means I haven't stayed grounded fully to the ability or amount that I needed to for that call. If I'm craving sweet, what that shows me is that my energetic boundaries, I need to check my auric field because they're most likely, I'm absorbing other people's energies and feelings and emotions and beliefs and taking them on as my own. And that craving for sweetness, just I want to feel loved and safe and okay. A little bit different than the salt, but it's very interesting. You just start to notice these subtleties. So that's another tip for the eclipse. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and just share about the week and bring you through some more routines because I don't want this to be too long, but still give you lots of good stuff. I use a journal as my foundational point because the moon is a way that, number one, we can heighten our intuition. In times of stress, as one of my astrology teachers says, do your moon. And if you don't know where your moon is in your natal chart, then again, drop a comment like, Irina, I want to know where my moon is, and we'll have a conversation. But when you know where your moon is in your natal chart, what that enables you to do is that's just where the moon was when you were born, and even knowing what phase the moon was in, like was it new or full or was it waxing or waning, things like that, can give you insight about yourself and why you are the way you are. Because when we're stressed, when we're anxious, we basically go back to our moon's energy. So for me, I'm a moon in Cancer. When moons in Cancer get stressed and anxious, they don't want to go out and go on some big adventure and see the world. They want to be at home, safe, nesting. Chocolate sounds great. Cuddled on the couch with their fur babies, watching a great rom-com. But they want to be at home. They want to feel safe. They need to nurture their feelings, maybe near water because it's a water sign. But when I'm stressed and feeling very anxious, I'll do my moon. I'll do Cancer-like things. If someone has an Aries moon, they might need to get out and get physical and run or hit something or just be able to shout in the middle of the forest. It's big, fiery energy. They need to be bold. If you have a moon in Pisces, you might find that you need to step away from the world and have a little rest and retreat time to be near water, in water, to listen to really good music. I love that John Denver song, Sometimes I Feel Like a Sad Song. If your moon is in Taurus, you might need to just really surround yourself with beautiful, shiny things, that the tactile things like soft, gentle clothes that feel so good, comforting food, and on like that. Oh, Eleanor, your moon's in no wonder. There's a in simpatico. I really, really find that interesting. Tamika, so great to have you. I hope I pronounced Tamikia. Oh, it's such a beautiful name. I hope I'm getting close with the pronunciation of that. So I invite you, learn more about your moon, because in times of stress, if you do your moon, it'll help you get through the stress and the anxiety with so much more ease. So many times we beat ourselves up because it's like, just be strong, put on your big girl panties and go out there and do it. And with somebody like me with a Cancer moon, it's just like, there, sweetheart, it's going to be okay. Little Irina, don't worry. Things will get better. The energy will shift. Tomorrow the moon will be in Leo and you'll have a great hair day. Leos have such great hair. So anyway, I tell you that because it's, again, another solar eclipse tip, or any day tip if you're feeling anxious. Oh, Gemini. Hello. Oh, I'm so glad, Tamikia. Such a beautiful name. So this week, I invite you, feel the flow of the energy around you. It's kind of like, licking your finger and saying, which way is the wind blowing, or stepping into a river, which way is the current going? And then go with the current. Don't try to fight it. That's where that lover's energy comes in. When you're at the crossroads making a choice, look at your options, but don't double down and keep fighting for something that hasn't been working so that you feel ensnared and trapped. So top 3 things that I encourage everyone to do this week. I'm going to be doing them. You feel into what your top 3 are, but pause, listen, and act. Why pause? Well, a new moon, which is what's happening with this solar eclipse, it's a new moon. It's an inward reflection type time. It's turning in. It's a pause. And with that pause, we have time to recharge our battery. We have time to really listen for guidance, which is important because we're at a decision crossroads. We're at a point where we have to take action. Aries, be bold. We can't just sit back anymore and say, oh, I'm just going to delay this. Because if we don't choose, the universe will choose for us. I'm hitting things. The crystal I'm going to be using this week, red jasper. So this is the crystal of the month. And how do I choose the crystal? Well, at the beginning of every month, this is a dateless journal. So you can stop and start wherever you want. But I have a crystal for every month to work with, just to get used to it, to get to know it, to develop a relationship with it. Sounds funny, but it really works. And I have an affirmation for each crystal. And this one is, I am tenacious. So the crystal I'm going to use with eclipse energy to what you'd call it, like in crystal terminology, is program it. I'll clear the energy of the crystal just by putting it over salt or holding it in my hand and running Reiki, or with intention, I clear any previous programmings and intentions. And then I just say, I'm going to program this crystal to help remind me this week, this beautiful red jasper, that I am tenacious. And this is, and I kind of describe the stone, a stone of endurance, physical strength, and energy. It will increase your motivation, help you overcome obstacles, and increase your creativity. Engage actively with your life and go with your dreams. So red jasper, great for second chakra and root chakra. So the red, part of the reason I was giggling before about wearing it, like with red jasper, is it helps ground us. It helps give us courage. It helps us be bold, activating root chakra. I am safe. All is well. So that's the crystal of this week that I'm working with. I invite you to do that. The ritual that I'm doing, and with this new moon solar eclipse, Agni Mudra. It's a yoga hand gesture, and it symbolizes fire. Agni is fire. Why fire? Well, Aries, the eclipse is taking place in Aries, is a fire sign. And fire, as energy alchemists know, is the element of transmutation. So energy is always in existence. It can't be created. It can't be destroyed. What alchemists know is that it can be transmuted. So that means we literally change the energy. You can transition, shift the energy, but when you transmute it, that's when you bring it from one substance to something completely different, like lead to gold. So metaphorically, what we're working with is we are using, or we can tap into this energy of this week to transmute any obstacles, whether that's a belief, or whether that's an opinion, or whether that's just a fear we have in our body, to transmute that into something of excitement and hope. So I think I always feel like I mix this up, but it's like fear, when we fear a fear in the belly, fear and excitement are such a similar energy. It just depends on how the brain interprets it. So we want to just transmute that energy from fear and anxiety to excitement and hope. And how do we do that? Grounding. And you can do it with that little hand gesture. That's one way. and Agni Mudra. And then to nourish or feed my spirit this week, I'm doing new routines. So let's just take a moment to do Agni Mudra. Mudras in general, M-U-D-R-A, are sacred yoga hand gestures. And it channels the energy and moves it within your body to create a certain experience. So you take your right hand thumb up, like a little lighter, and your left palm right underneath it. And it signals like a flame. And you can light a candle most definitely with this eclipse. It's apexing at 2:20 Eastern, 2:20 p.m. Eastern. And I'll let everybody do the math for around that time zone. But Agni Mudra, and you just bring your hands down into your lap and you take 5 deep breaths with Agni Mudra right in your lap in alignment with the root chakra. And as you breathe, you can say to yourself, like you did with the crystal, I am tenacious. I am safe. I am strong. And take another breath. If you wanted to take it one step farther, another part of the sacred practices and rituals that I have in the journal to go with the Agni Mudra is the mantra. And the mantra for this one, it matches the roots, and it is LAM, L-A-M, LAM. You can simply say that energetic seed sound, a bija, LAM. And then gently release the hands. Opening the eyes and take a breath. And again, just feel the subtle shifts from when we first came on to the call. So fascinating. All right. So that's a lot of the tips that you can use for this eclipse energy. In the meantime, with the week ahead, from this new moon eclipse, the moon is going to be growing. And as it's growing and expanding, so is your energy. Although after an eclipse, sometimes people talk about like an eclipse hangover. Might take a couple of days to feel kind of the effects of the eclipse. The new moon, we feel it more so afterwards. New moon eclipses, new moon solar eclipse, you feel the effect afterwards. So that's why I'm saying go with the flow. Notice the flow of your energy. And let's tune into what to expect for each of the days. And I'm going to pull cards because I know I've given a lot of extra tips today with the eclipse. So I don't want to take too much time on the days of the week, but I do want to pull cards for you. All right. And let me know in the comments too if this is helpful, the tips that I'm giving, if it's too much, if it's not enough, if there's something specific that you want to learn more about, because this time is for you. I love being able to share this. Okay, so I'm using the Astro cards and we're going to tune into the energy. I pulled one card for the overarching energy of the eclipse, but let's just say Monday. What's the most important thing about Monday's energy that you need to be aware of? Let's see. Yep. Retrograde review. So love it. So Mercury is in retrograde, but retrograde energy in general. Today, give yourself a moment in that pause, that inward reflection. You can do the Agni Mudra. Just sit for 5 breaths, 10 breaths, and allow yourself to, in the pause, just simply be. And what's going to happen is as you come out of that, it'll be natural for you to review what's been going on. Where am I? Where do I want to go? Because this eclipse is with the North Node, which means new. What has your spirit and soul been calling you towards that you may have been ignoring because, again, there wasn't any real big reason why you had to leave that job or that relationship or that community or town. But now things are getting to the point where they're coming to a head and you're being encouraged. Take that leap, be bold, be courageous. So review, take a moment to review what's been going on in your life. Okay, Tuesday's energy. So the moon in Tuesday goes into Taurus, very grounding energy, which is nice after the eclipse. And how can you make the most of Tuesday's energy? Digest the Virgo energy. Love it. So with Tuesday, moon and Taurus, again, have beautiful creature comforts around you. Eat the yummy food that brings you comfort food. Have the comfy clothes. Allow yourself to enjoy the sparkly things that you have. Watch if you're, wanting to spend a lot of money. That would be more if Jupiter's hanging out with you, which I don't think it will because the Virgo card comes up here. But it's just kind of like enjoy what you have. Like the Queen of Pentacles, she is enjoying what's around her. So Virgo, digest the information that came up with the eclipse. Give yourself some time to analyze, to create some kind of structure or system. So let's say you had an inspiration. I have been toying again with the idea of putting together a moon club. I had Insight of the Moon. I guess it's almost been like a year or two ago that I had that. And then so many people wanted to go farther with their intuitive gifts. I developed the Energy Alchemist Mastering Intuition program. And I've just been feeling a calling. More people have been coming back to me asking about like basically a moon club. And so I've been toying with the idea of putting together a moon club again and what that would look like. Because I don't want to overwhelm with information, but I have been toying with the idea of doing like new moon and full moon rituals, creating altars with each, like for the month, working with particular energies, elements, and then even, just learning about more about like your moon, how it affects you, doing your, like things like that. So if you're interested in Moon Club, let me know because I'm toying with that. So why do I bring that up? Well, that's an inspiration that's been building with this eclipse. So Tuesday, what I might do rather than just, because I was almost at the point where I was like, okay, I'm just going to create the whole thing and I'll just put it out there. But something told me, well, wait a second, pause, take a moment to digest. What would it look like? Put together the system. So, even like the logistics, like how would I welcome people in? What platform would I host this on? How would I send information? How would I receive information from the people who are in it? So, Tuesday is kind of that, whatever inspiration you get, like go this road, that road, like maybe jumping jobs or moving towns, digest it, kind of say, okay, well, what would that really look like and feel like? Oh, good, Eleanor. I'm glad that sounds awesome. And you're popping up as Facebook user. Oh my goodness. That might be you, Julie. Moon Club. So, all right. Just kind of think about the strategy, the systems that you might need. It's really more of the systems, the structure, how would it physically be built on Tuesday? Okay, so Wednesday, moon is still in Taurus. So we're growing, you're getting more energy, but as you go, what's the most important thing that you need to know? 11th house community. So surround yourself with your people. Find where you belong. 11th house are your friends. Those are the people who see you, get you, know you. So after this eclipse energy where information may have been brought to light, let's say it is you're getting a feeling of, I need to move. And you're saying, okay, well, Tuesday you're digesting, well, what would it actually be like to move? Like, would there be a community there that I would look to kind of join or belong with, or friends? Do I have friends in that town? I always joke, there's a really cute YouTube video out there that my son found ages ago called like Colorado Mom. And I'm from the East Coast, but living in the Midwest. And my son, I'm kind of a granola crunchy mom, a little bit out of place where I am right now. There's others of me here, though, in this neck of the woods, but we're far and few between. And he went to Colorado and he was like, oh my God, Mom, your people are here. He's like, everybody's like you. And he found this video that kind of is a parody of Colorado moms. And I had to laugh because it's very like me. So if you're looking to move, you kind of just look, where's your community? Where's your people? Maybe it's like jobs. Look at the corporate culture. Does that fit you a little bit better than where you are? Maybe you've been working in an office where you have to dress professionally every day and you just want to have casual Friday every day, wear your Birkenstocks and tie-dye. And you said the comment section went all weird on Facebook. Uh-oh, thanks Mercury retrograde. Oh, that was your comment. Okay, it is you, Julie. Yay! Glad you're here. Okay, so I know Mercury retrograde has been an interesting one too. Aries. Okay, so we're going into Thursday's energy. So into Gemini. So Gemini moon. What to know about it? Aries is there with you. Act. So by Thursday, Gemini is very talkative, very communicative, and investigative. They have questions. But why? But why? But why? Whatever inspiration comes up with the eclipse, let's say like Moon Club. I've been having this inspiration. Okay. And then Tuesday, I'm digesting it with Virgo energy. How would that look? Like the system and how it's built, what platform would it be built on? And then Wednesday, I get into the energy of like, okay, well, who might be the kind of people that I want to invite? Like, what would this community look like? Would it be empathic, curious seekers? Would it be all women? Would it be, from international group? Would I try to set up times that, I could hang out with my friends in Ireland and England and Australia? You're just thinking of time zones and places, the community, the types of people you want to draw in. So by Thursday, take some kind of action. Maybe you make an announcement. Maybe you look for, at the job postings. Maybe you have you take someone out for coffee and say, hey, could I pick your brain? I just wanted to know, what is it like in this particular town or this particular profession? But Thursday, take some kind of action, do some investigation, do a little bit of research. And then Friday's energy, moon's fully in Gemini. How can you make the most of that energy? Solar calm. Clarity. So there's some kind of clarity or enlightenment that's coming through on Friday. I would encourage you, because Gemini is a social energy. It's air. It is conversation. It is community. I would encourage you, if you have the ability, because it's kind of like what I'm feeling here intuitively is this juxtaposition between being a social butterfly, which Gemini are great getting out and talking and conversing with people, and having alone time and away time so you can experience this calm. And when I tune in and I ask, well, how could you have the best of both of those worlds? Oh, this is a pretty picture. I feel the energy of the wind. So I went for an amazing bike ride yesterday. It was so much fun. And we have this cute little town near us and this little creek or river that runs through. It's bigger than a creek. It's a little river that runs through, tiny, but still a river. And this brewery set up next to it. And you had all this music and people outside and having food. But there were these Adirondack chairs that were just off to the edge of the crowd facing the river where you could sit and you could enjoy the great weather and the wind and the music. And you could still be a part of the scene without actually having to be in the scene, if that makes sense. And there's that feeling of like being able to be with life, be with people, but have that calmness. And so Friday, if you have a chance to get out and just be around people, but still have that peacefulness of being outside, like outdoor restaurants or going for a walk on a local trail, I would encourage you, let the wind blow through your hair. Then Saturday, moon in Gemini, the root. So set a strong foundation, whatever inspiration that you had at the beginning of the week, like you want to do ABCXYZ, set a foundation for it. So maybe this means you carve out of your schedule of the time to do the research for the job hunting or the interviewing or the visiting of the town so that you can say, is this really something that I want? Hey, and if you're in Cincinnati, come see me at the Body, Mind, Spirit Expo. Little shameless plug. I'll be at booth 312. I'm doing readings. And if you want to find out where your moon is and you don't know yet, I will tell you. So come see me. So that's Saturday's energy. Foundation. And then Sunday, how can you make the most? Oh, I got the same one for Sunday. Okay, big grounding weekend. So for this grounding weekend, if you get a chance, definitely have the red jasper on you. If you can get outside, go for the walk. That's always great for grounding. I have so many grounding tips. If you don't have my root flush fill yet, type root flush fill in the comments and I will make sure that you get a copy, that you can access a copy of it. There's so many ways to ground and I want to give you tips. But the other one that's really coming through is the hematite. And my hematite I have, here it is. This is magnetic hematite. Whoa, that'll work. Running away. The hematite. If you have hematite, that's a nice one for grounding. So if you come see me at the Body, Mind, Spirit Expo, make sure you have a little hematite in your pocket. If you don't have hematite yet, I'm sure you can find it at the Body, Mind, Spirit Expo. But hematite's a great one for protection and for grounding. All right. Thank you so much. This has been a long energy weather report. I'm so grateful for all of you hanging out here with me. So much love to you. Eleanor, I'm so glad that you love the tips and learning the mudras. The names of them go over in your head, but you feel connected when you do them. Excellent. And awesome. Okay. If you have questions, pop them in the comments. I will come back to take a look. Have an incredible day. Happy Eclipse Day. Stay safe. Protect your eyes wherever you are. Make sure, I was going to say, Probably. This feels like a prop day, right? So make sure you have your glasses. All right. Lots of love. Mwah. Bye, guys. You're welcome.